Where do 900 people just disappear to in a night somehow? I don't know that I have a lot of feelings for this book right now. And then I finished that chapter and literally right at the end I was like, oh! Yeah, okay, maybe I should stop talking because I don't know that any of this is making sense. It sounds... Hey friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather, and today we are going to be going on a reading vlog adventure. I have a bunch of NetGALLEY arcs that I am behind on. Most of them came out in March, one of them came out in April, and so we are going to try and read through these guys. So I'm just going to tell you briefly which NetGALLEY arcs I have that I would like to get through, and we're going to see if we can make it through all 4 of these, and I'm going to just kind of give you my first initial thoughts on them of what I think maybe they might be about, or I don't know, whatever comes out of my mouth. So the first one is She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Hurd. This one, I honestly am going to say that I probably was drawn in mostly by the cover. I don't know if I really heard anybody talking about it or anything, but the cover like stood out to me and I was like, I really like that, and it might be something I'm into. And my basic understanding is it's a YA thriller and there's like a sapphic romance in there as well. So I also have Body of Stars by Laura Maylene Walters, and I don't know, I'm kind of confused if this is more of a sci-fi fantasy book or more contemporary or kind of a mix of them. I think it's going to lean more contemporary, but I think on Goodreads it says sci-fi or fantasy or something like that. So not really sure, but there's markings on women's bodies in this world that basically tell the future, and there's also a talk about rape culture within this book, and that's kind of what I know at this point. Another arc that I have is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. I think this one might be the one that I'm most excited for. It is a horror novel that was originally released actually in 2019 in Sweden, and it's being released here in the United States, or it was actually, sorry, in March, because this vlog is a little past the due date here. But this is following like a documentary team, and they go to like an old haunted mining town. Sounds fun. I love haunted things. And the last one is What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson. And I believe this is considered a thriller, and we're following like 2 brothers, and they're trying to find like a bunch of money that their convict dad hid or something like that. But I think there's like another family that's looking for it as well. And so I don't know, that's my general knowledge. So when we actually get into reading these books, I will try to update you guys around like the quarter of the way in and give you a better synopsis of what these books are about, and then I'll update you 1 or 2 more times on kind of how I am feeling about it and what I think of these books, and we'll read them and we'll check them out. And if you guys have read them, then definitely would love to hear what you guys thought of them. So let's go ahead and start the reading vlog. Okay, so I'm about 25% into book number 1, which is going to be The Lost Village by Camilla Sten, and I'm intrigued. I wanted to give you guys a little more of a synopsis now that I'm a little more into it. So we are basically following 2 different timelines. One is now, in which we are going with this team that's trying to do a documentary on this old mining town that's like in the middle of nowhere basically, and everybody just up and disappeared one day, and nobody really knows what's happened, and nobody's really looked into it too much. And then we're also following from the past when this mining town was active and people were there, and we're following a couple different perspectives from back then. So that's kind of our start to this one. I have quite a bit of reading time ahead of me today, which is kind of nice. I don't have a ton of school, so we're gonna see how much farther I can get. Good morning, lovely people. It is gorgeous outside. I am adoring the weather, and I just get to sit and look out this window, which you guys can't see, but it's beautiful, and I love it. Anyways, last night I finished book number 1, which was The Lost Village, and I really enjoyed it. The cat's gonna get in the way. Minnie, move it, lady. So I just like really started getting into it, and then I just was like, I have to know what's gonna happen, and we're just gonna like totally fly through this whole book. And so yeah, that's what happened pretty much. I definitely felt like it was suspenseful and fast-paced, and you know, I just wanted to know what was going on. And then there was that like mystery piece where like, where did all these people disappear to years ago? And I just ate it up. I was like, how is this even a thing? Where do 900 people just disappear to in a night somehow? So I was definitely very curious, and I don't know, it just, got a little creepy or wondering what's going on. It was good. I very much enjoyed it. I will say, like, the ending could be kind of predictable. Like, I didn't know that that's where it was definitely gonna go, but it wasn't like a crazy twist where you're just like mind-boggling, and afterwards you're just like, wait, what the heck just happened? But I almost kind of liked that, because sometimes like there's books and the twists are just so much, and then you're just like, your brain hurts, and then later you're just like, wait, I don't even know what happened, and you feel like you have to go back and reread it. This book, like, I know what happened, and I understand it, and my brain doesn't have to hurt. Tim, close the door. So anyways, if you're looking for like a fun, creepy horror type book where, there's just like odd things happening and you're wondering like what is going on, if it's haunted, if somebody else is there with them, if there's maybe somebody in the group that's, doing it, and then you're also like looking at the past and what happened in this town before. Definitely very intriguing, and I really enjoyed it. And it was an isolated setting, so if you like those isolated settings, like they're out in the middle of nowhere, it's just them, and they don't have the ability to contact people while they're out there, and it's quite a whiles into town and everything like that. So yeah, book number 1, 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely enjoyed quite a bit. And we're going to move on to the next book. Okay guys, I am about 21%, I believe, into Body of Stars. And this is by Laura Maylene Walter. So I wanted to just kind of give you a brief synopsis of what this book is about so far. We are following, oh my goodness, can I already not remember? Celeste, that's her name. So we are following Celeste, and she's 15 years old, and in this world, girls are born with markings on their body, like moles and birthmarks and such, and they are indicative of their future, and they basically tell their future, and if it's on your body, then you can't really change it. Like, that's just what it is. It'll be like, oh, you're gonna have 2 kids. That's how many kids you're gonna have. And so around their 16th birthday, they go through this process called the changeling, and basically, or the changing, something like that. Is it changing or changeling? So around their 16th birthday, they go through a process called the changing, and basically they kind of like teeth. Like, you have baby teeth and then they fall out and you grow new teeth. They kind of do that with their markings. Everything that they had on their body before is still indicative of their future, but it becomes more clear after they go through this changing and they get their adult markings. And they get read every like 6 months, even before the changing, and then they get a special reading when they have their change. And during the period in which they have this change, it lasts like a couple weeks, but they are like irresistible, especially to men. There's just something about them that just like pulls everybody in, makes them the center of attention, and it becomes very dangerous. Ooh, that was loud. It becomes very dangerous for them, and they, like, a lot of them can get kidnapped if they're out at night, so they can't go out at night. They always have to be with somebody, and that's kind of the lead up of the story. We also have Miles, who's her older brother by 2 years, and he is very into interpreting and becoming an interpreter, but pretty much interpreters are only women. So he's the first male that's trying to get into this field, and so that's very unique and different. And something that I'm finding kind of cool and interesting is in between the chapters, they show like these pictures, and sometimes it's of like the female body and like which areas, like let's say the left elbow, that shows like whatever markings you have there show something about your career or something like that. So sometimes you'll get a picture like that, and sometimes you'll get a picture of like the little mole constellations, and it'll like break down like what it means and stuff like that. And so very interesting kind of to see some of that in between. So yeah, I'm kind of curious as to where this is going to go. We did have one girl that she came into contact with, Deirdre, who was during her change time, and she ends up disappearing. And so that's kind of what's going on right now. I believe that this story kind of talks about rape culture in a lot of ways, and who we blame and that kind of thing. Let's see. I actually have it pulled up on Goodreads right now. So it says, an exploration of fate and female agency in a world very similar to our own, except that the markings on women's bodies reveal the future. A piercing indictment of rape culture, a read about what happens when women are objectified and stripped of choice, and what happens when they fight back. So yeah, basically like, because they have these markings, that's their future. They don't really have a big choice in it, and it can really affect their future. Like, basically, if you have certain markings, you may or may not be able to get into a certain university if they look at that, or you may not, I don't know. It's just like, it very much, if you don't do your readings, like you can choose to do your readings every 6 months, but if you don't, then that can affect your future too. So they're basically making them like show their bodies to have these interpretations happen. And then the guys, they don't have any of these markings, and so they have free choice to do whatever. So it's kind of interesting in that way. Also, if you end up getting kidnapped during your change time, then pretty much that like demolishes all of your future. Nobody will accept you to a university or give you a job or anything. Like, it just, like, that's pretty much it for you. And it's not something that they can find on the body in the markings. So I don't know, kind of interesting, and I'm curious as to where the story is going to go. So we'll see. Alrighty guys, so I am here to update you guys on Body of Stars, because I'm about 75% into the book, I believe. So I'm trucking through, and I feel like I should be finishing this one up really soon here. And I don't know that I have a lot of feelings for this book right now. I want to like it and appreciate it for what it's trying to talk about, and I do to a point, but also I feel like it's kind of dragging out. Like, the middle of it, I was just like, okay, come on, something more has to happen. You keep telling me the same things over and over, and I've heard it a million times. Oh, that's one thing that drives me nuts, actually. So maybe this is what's kind of bugging me about this story right now, is I hate it when you are told something so many times over and over, and you're just like, yes, I know this is bugging you. I know this is on your mind, but I'm tired of hearing about it and nothing happening from it. And I just, it gets a little repetitive, and I don't enjoy that. And I just feel like the buildup and the, you know, we're trying to get the story going and we're trying to have this base, but it just was taking too long. I do think we've gotten to a point where I feel like things are picking up some, and, you know, things have gone a new direction. So we have something new to talk about at this point, because I am a little farther into the book, but definitely at like the 50 to 60% mark, I was just like, okay, I don't know that I'm really enjoying reading this right now, because it's just the same stuff. And I just was like, come on, let's have something happen. So things are happening a little bit more between Celeste and her big brother Miles. There's a lot of like kind of turmoil and tension going on there, and I'm sure, gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what I told you guys, but basically like these girls go through their changeling time, and then sometimes they get abducted. They're very, like, they shouldn't be out at night all by themselves. They should always be with people because men are just like super attracted to them. And I think like a really big message that I appreciate in this book is that they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is just like the way it is, men can't help themselves, this and that, and girls shouldn't like dress a certain way or go to certain places because they're just asking for it, and like that's not okay. A girl should be able to wear a dress and not have some guy want to be touching on her and grabbing on her. Like that's not an okay thing. I'm sorry, but what world are we living in, right? I mean, luckily this is a totally different world, but things do happen, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like, why should these things ever happen, ever? Or people be okay with it? Like, why would somebody be okay with that? Or try to blame anyone else except for the guy who's doing the bad deed? Or the woman, if it's a woman. I don't know. In this case, it's a man, but, you know, it's not appropriate, and it should not be blamed on the victim. And it shouldn't be their job to have all the consequences. I think, you know, I think the book does a good job of like kind of talking about some of that stuff and putting it in like a different light. And she's not like super direct, like she's talking exactly about that, but kind of using this theme in her story to kind of enlighten about the subject. I think other books have done it better, unfortunately, at this point at least, and the world building, it's not enticing me, it's not entertaining me as well. Like, I don't know. And I don't want to be like, I need to totally enjoy the subject or something, but I do want to kind of have a storyline that's intriguing me, at least, or just giving me some kind of emotions. Like, there are a lot of it, I'm like, we're talking about such a heavy subject in a lot of ways, but I'm not feeling anything. I have no emotions about it. And I'm not saying it needs to be a positive emotion, but like, I'm getting heated just because I'm talking about the subject, but the book's not making me feel this way. It's not giving me that something. So overall right now, it's kind of just meh. We'll see how it ends. It definitely was expecting something, I think, different from where this book was going to go. I didn't think it would be like in such a short amount of time frame. I was expecting to have maybe a little bit, like, I feel like everything in the books happened within like a couple weeks, maybe. And I was expecting, I guess, a little bit more from change and the direction that things were going to go, and that I don't know, there would be some kind of growth. Hopefully that's what's coming, right? That's what we're waiting on. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not really sure what else to say, but we'll see how this book ends, and I'll be back to update you guys with that soon. Hey guys, I'm back with another update. I finished Body of Stars, and I have mixed feelings on this one. I think the author took on a really tough subject, and I think she did a good job of metaphorically like pulling together this story, and like it was very intricate and smart. I just don't know that it fully packed the emotional punch that I would have liked, and like fully like hit me the way that I feel like it should have, because this is such a tough subject. But I do believe that, you know, it had a good metaphor, and I appreciated the end and how things kind of came together, and I don't know, there just was something missing. I just can't quite pinpoint exactly what it was that just didn't quite hit for me. Overall, I think I'm giving this one a 3-star. Maybe I'll take a look at some reviews here and see. Sometimes that helps me put into words what I'm kind of feeling and thinking, you know? I guess the cat's going to be involved in our discussion right now. I don't know that the reviews really say a whole lot more for me at this point. It seems like a mixed bag. People either kind of enjoyed it and were on the higher, like 4 stars. There's a lot of 4 stars, I feel like. Or they DNF'd it earlier on, you know, or they just kind of were, I don't know, mixed bag. One review I will say said that she's very character driven and she just felt like she couldn't connect to the characters. I could see that. I don't feel like I super connected. Maybe that's why I didn't feel for the characters as much. There's some talk about like the men just get away with everything in here. There's no justice at all. And yeah, I feel like, I don't know, there could have been just more going on there. More, I don't know. There just was something missing, guys. It just didn't quite hit the mark, which this isn't an easy topic to take on. So I understand, like, it's just not going to always hit, and maybe it will hit for certain people and it'll help others, because there are some good ratings and stuff on here. So maybe it just wasn't the one that was right for me. Okay, time to update you guys on book number 3, which is She's Too Pretty to Burn. And honestly, I've been kind of bad. I started this book yesterday and I kept thinking, like, Heather, you need to stop. You need to, like, make a vlog entry here and make sure to tell everybody what this book is about. And I told myself this several times yesterday, but I was just busy and I was running around and I was like, I can't. And then, so I am about, I think I'm at like 5.5 to 6 hours into the audiobook now, and it's an 8-hour audiobook. So yeah, I'm pretty far in there, but I'm enjoying it. So that's good. It's going by really quickly. I'm hoping I will finish it up today since I only have a little bit longer. Basic synopsis. Let's see, without giving too much away. We're following 2 girls and 2 different perspectives. So we have Veronica and Mick is on the swim team, and she is having some struggles with her mom, and she meets this girl at a party that her friend dragged her to, and that is Veronica. And Veronica is an artist. She loves to take pictures, and basically, the 2 of them start hanging out and getting to know each other. So we've got kind of a sapphic romance happening, but it's kind of in the background as they're trying to get to know each other. And then they also have another friend, Nico, that does all this installation art, and they kind of come along and check out some of his art as well. And he, you know, is intertwined into both of their lives a little bit throughout the book. And yeah, it's definitely like a thriller. I would categorize this into thriller. It seems like on Goodreads and just in general, this kind of is in some different areas because it does have some romance in it. But I definitely would pull it more towards the thriller end of things. And I will just say that this morning I was listening a little bit while I was getting ready, and I was like, okay, I really need to like get going. I have a lot of school stuff to do today. I have video editing stuff to do. I just have a lot of stuff going on. And so I was like, at the end of this chapter, I've got like 4 minutes left. We are gonna turn this off. And then I finished that chapter, and literally right at the end, I was like, oh! I like audibly did that. I was just like, okay. So I did have a little bit of a shock. It shouldn't have been a shock, honestly, but I was a little shocked. So yeah, this it's giving me some shocking stuff going on. I know that's like super vague and it doesn't really tell you what's going on, but I think the tagline is like 2 girls, a fire, what's gonna happen next or something, and it's like over the summer or something. I don't know, but gosh, it's just a weird book to like explain what it's about without, I don't want to like give anything away. Yeah, I don't know. That's basically what I got synopsis wise. As far as my feelings towards it, I'm enjoying it. I feel like it's a really fast read. There's a lot of like lying and deception. between all of the characters, and I think that's really interesting. And I know that there was a couple points where I was like thinking, and I was like, oh, I don't like the way that she's acting towards her, or I don't remember the exact instance, but then I was thinking back and I was like, but because I'm not in like Nico's head, I was like, if I was in his head, would I feel the same way because I'd be feeling his other feeling? That doesn't make sense. We're a little rambly today. I'm a little tired, a little out of it. I probably stayed up too late reading the last couple nights, so, you know. Anyways, basically, I'm just saying, like, there's different perspectives you could definitely look at some of these different things from, and I feel like some people are being trickier than we're being led to be put on by, and that there just is a lot of deception going on and a lot of lying, and I'm curious as to how all of those lies are going to start coming out, because I think some of them are, and I don't know. I don't know who exactly I like either, or do I like any of these characters? There are definitely characters where you're made to like them, but if you really think about it, maybe you shouldn't like them, or maybe it's just because like we're in their head and so we think that maybe we should like them, but maybe we should not because we're not in their head for certain things. Yeah, okay, maybe I should stop talking because I don't know that any of this is making sense. It sounds very rambly to me. Like I understand what I'm trying to tell you guys, but how do I convey it without telling you things, you know? It's one of those really tough things about BookTube, and like you don't want to give away the book. So anyways, that's my update for She's Too Pretty to Burn. And I will let you know. I'll probably update you guys when I finish it because I don't have that much more, which should be hopefully later today. All right, and I finished She's Too Pretty to Burn. This was a really fast read. I did listen to this one on audio for the entire thing, but man, I just feel like I went through it really quick, and it was pretty well paced and kept kind of the action and the intrigue really moving, and I really enjoyed that. The end was definitely very interesting and a little messed up in certain ways, but I think it ended pretty well. I don't think that it was like super, like if you were like a really twisted, crazy, weird ending, I don't think it was quite that. And I think there was a piece of it that was a little over dramatic, and maybe it was just like, but really? I don't know, that could have happened. A little unbelievable, but overall, like the very end, there's like a little like snippet stuffed in there, like you could almost have a sequel, but I don't think it needs it, but you're just like, oh, what's gonna really happen here? And I think that the characters were dynamic and interesting together in the way they played off each other, and it made them decide to do different things, and I just, yeah, I enjoyed the different dynamics between all of them. I enjoyed just the story. Like it was just a fun read. It was just fun and quick, and we were moving. I don't think it was anything like spectacular, over the top, something major, different. That's going to be like my favorite of all time, but did I enjoy reading it? Yes. Yes, I did. So I think my rating's going to be at a 4 is what it came out to when I put it through my rating system. I would say it was like at the lower end of the 4s. Like if I did half ratings, it'd probably be like a 3.5, but I don't, so maybe that's something I will implement in the future, but right now it's sitting at a 4. So we've had 2 4 stars and a 3 star so far, and we're going to move into the last book, so I'll talk about that in just a moment. Well, hello. Oh, I'm kicking stuff, sorry. I finished about 30% of What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson, so I'm here to update you guys on some thoughts and feelings there. Or really not a lot of thoughts and feelings. I'm going to give you a synopsis of what's going on. This book, we are following two brothers, one who is 18, I believe. Either that or he's lying about it and he's like 17, but he's like upper teens. And then the younger brother, I want to say, is like 10 or something. I don't know. He's not like quite capable of taking care of himself too much yet, but a little bit. But I don't think they've actually told us the age of the kid. Anyways, we're following these two brothers, and basically their dad went to prison, and I think it was like 7 years ago. Basically, he stole a bunch of money and he hid it somewhere, and nobody knows where it's at, but he's in prison for it. And now their mom has died, and they basically, the older brother Jack, he doesn't want to get Maddie taken away from him, but they have no money. Their mom wasn't bringing in any money really before. She was addicted to drugs, and they're having a hard time of it. And he doesn't want Maddie to end up getting taken away, but he also needs to be able to feed him and clothe him and have a house, so he wants to find this money. And then we also kind of have some perspectives going on with their dad's partner, and he definitely does not seem like a very good person, but he doesn't know where the money is either, and he wants to know, so he's kind of keeping an eye on Jack, and Jack doesn't know that. So basically, we're trying to watch Jack and his little brother survive, and this would actually be a really good winter book, I feel like, because they are talking about like they have no heat and it's like super snowy, and they're worried about being cold and freezing, and they keep having to make fires, and so just like a very cold atmosphere feel going on. And I'm just imagining somewhere just with lots and lots of snow happening, and right now it's like been in the 80s most days here, and gorgeous sun and blue skies, so definitely not quite the same feel happening, but that's okay. I'm enjoying it okay. I find myself sometimes, like, the story's intriguing. I'm interested to see where the author's going to take it, but I also find myself kind of spacing out sometimes when I'm reading through some of the description, or there's like at the beginning of the chapter, I haven't figured out whose perspective it's supposed to be, but it's like in italics for like a paragraph or two, and we're talking about something else, and I don't know, it's confusing me right now, but I'm wondering if it's going to make something interesting of the story as we go on. And some of the bouncing back and forth between some of the different perspectives, because we have like Jack's perspective, but then sometimes we have Bottom, and he's that partner I was telling you guys about, but then also his daughter, sometimes we see from her, and sometimes it takes me a minute to see whose perspective I'm in, because it doesn't necessarily always tell me right away. I don't know, it's a little like disjointing at the moment. But also, this is an arc, so they may have done it a little bit different in the actual book. I don't know. And it could also just be meant to be that way. I'm not totally sure. So that's my first thoughts right now. We're going along. We're hanging out with it, and we'll see where it goes. Really quick, I also wanted to share with you guys, I got this really cute little journal. I think I'm going to try and start doing some stuff in like a little bullet journal. They're so fun, and I watch everybody making them, and I'm like, I kind of want to do that too, but I don't know. I'm not like the most artistically inclined. It takes a lot for me, so I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, or how it's going to go. And I think I do want to do a little bit of bookish stuff, but I also kind of want to do stuff for some of my working out and eating nutritious, and I'm really trying to focus on that. So I have some ideas for that in here. I'm not really sure how I want to lay it all out. So you guys might see a video about it in the future. You might not, because we'll see how this whole thing goes. But something to look out for. I also thought it was really fun, though, that they sent like a little ruler in the back and some cute little stickers. I wasn't really expecting that at all. So I thought that was kind of fun and cute. But I gave my mom. I gave my daughter one of the little unicorn stickers the other day. I was like, here, have a unicorn. So anyways, I thought it was cute. I thought I'd share in case, you know, maybe I'll do something with it on my channel soon. And I'll talk to you guys when I'm a little farther into the book. All right, so I'm about 75% into What Beauty There Is. Wow, I just totally blanked out there. Whew. Kind of like I'm feeling like with this book. I'm struggling to get through this book. This one's taking me forever, and I don't even know why. It's not that long of a book. It's a thriller, so I feel like usually, you know, you're moving through those pretty quick. But I just don't want to pick it up. Like, I'm making myself pick it up because I know I need to finish this book. Tomorrow, this video is supposed to go up, and I need to get done with this book so I can just finish this off. So, I was thinking, and I'm trying to pinpoint, why is this so awkward right now? I was trying to pinpoint what it is about this darn book that is just not working for me right now. I was thinking about the characters. I was like, okay, let's just kind of break this down. I don't feel like the characters are very well developed. I feel like they're just kind of hanging out there. Like, Jack he just keeps getting beat up, and people just keep saying he's so smart, but I don't really feel like I know him. And I don't feel like I know any of the other characters that well, or their motives, or their thoughts, or their feelings, or anything about them. I don't feel connected in any way to them. So I'm like, okay, well, sometimes, you know, the characters aren't there, but like we have a really good plot going, or some really good atmosphere, or something else going on. But I'm struggling with some of the writing. I think it's weird, like the beginning passage, every chapter is, I believe, from a certain perspective, I'm pretty sure, but then sometimes like she says things, I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. I don't understand where that's coming from. How do you know that? Or I don't know, it seems like she's telling it from the future after all these events have passed, and then she's just putting these little blurbs in there. I don't know. And then sometimes I'm just reading and I feel like I just completely space out on passages, and I'm like, wait, what am I even reading? But I just keep going because I don't want to go back and reread it. So the writing's a little struggle. The atmosphere's fine. I can envision some of these different places, and I do have some like thoughts in my brain, and I can bring up some visions of where all this is happening, and I can see some of that. So that's good. It's not great, but it's good. There's at least something there. What else? The plot should be more intriguing than it is. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty fast-paced plot, and there's a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just moving slow. Like, it's the same thing. Like, we pick up and we have this big action-y scene, and then this is happening, and then we're having to recover and figure what the hell is going on and what our next step is for quite a while, and that part's kind of slower, and then we just do it all over again. I also think that, like, this book is talking about we're trying to find this briefcase, and it's got all this money in it from his dad hiding it because he stole all this money. But I don't know. This is probably just me personally. Some other people may not like this as much, but I would love to just have a little bit more like clues to being able to find said briefcase, and a little more like puzzling through that and trying to figure out where it's at. There's like a little bit of that, but it doesn't take up barely any amount of time. And I feel like that was supposed to be a big part of this story, and I just feel like it's not. Like, it's barely talked about, and then like, oh, we're gonna go look in this place, and we're literally there looking for like 2 seconds, and then something else bad goes on, and it's like, did you even really get to the chance to look there or anything? We're about to go to the second place that they're deciding to actually look for said briefcase, and I'm 75% into this book, and like the clues, there's been like a couple clues, but they've barely been even talked about or realized that they are clues. And we just now said, oh shoot, this is actually a clue. What? I don't know. It's not working right now for me. And I don't know if it's because I just read some other thrillers and it's not my like favorite genre to read. So maybe I'm just feeling a little burnt out from it and I want something else. Maybe it's just because I've been reading a lot or I've got a lot of other stuff going on. Maybe it's jading me for this book, but I'm just not into it. I'm just not right now. So I don't know. Maybe the ending will just come in here and just wow me, but I'm pretty much got to finish it today or early tomorrow morning. And so yeah, we need to kind of get our butts moving on that. So I'll be back with the last update and we'll wrap up this vlog and hopefully you'll be seeing it tomorrow. Alright guys, I finished What Beauty There Is and we're going to wrap up this vlog. I'm not sure I have much more thoughts than what I've shared already with you guys. I don't feel like the ending really gave any more interesting anything. There was a point where I got a little confused because I thought I had read one thing and then I was like, but that doesn't make sense if this happened now at the end. But I didn't want to go back and read it again because I just was like, I'm kind of over this book. So I've already given my thoughts and I think I've decided on a 2-star rating for this one. It was not my cup of tea. I didn't really think it did anything new or different. And yeah. You guys already heard it, so moving along. We read 4 books for this vlog, and I don't think any of them stood out as like super wonderful, amazing books. I think my favorite was probably The Lost Village. I really liked that one. I had fun with it. It was enjoyable. It was quick. It was easy. And so that one was really good. I also enjoyed She's Too Pretty to Burn. I thought that was just a really fun, fast little YA thriller. I just don't think they were like going to be all-time favorites or anything like that, but I did enjoy both of those quite a bit. They're probably in that like 3.5 to 4 range. And then we had Body of Stars, which I would say like 3 stars on that one. Just kind of wasn't for me either. So yeah, you guys heard my thoughts on that one. I guess I was wanting something a little more going on in that one. But it wasn't necessarily a bad story. There were elements to it that weren't good, that were, I don't know. I just wanted a little bit more depth from it, that's all. And then we had What Beauty There Is, which I am giving a 2-star and was my least favorite. It took me forever to get through it. I didn't really like anything about it. There was just not really much plot or intrigue. The characters weren't great. It just, yeah, wasn't my favorite. The writing was a little jarring and a little hard for me. I don't know. I was looking through reviews of that one because it's pretty well rated right now on Goodreads, and Ray was rating it, and like, I don't know, I just was reading the reviews and I was like, I don't know. I don't really feel like I agree with any of this. So maybe it's just me, because I am not a big thriller reader. I'd rather read a mystery or a horror. For sure, thrillers aren't always my favorite, and so it's a trickier genre. So if it sounds interesting to you, it may still work for you, but it just didn't for me. So that's going to wrap it up for this week's vlog. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe, and I will talk to you guys super soon. Bye!